So the teams are out for England versus Scotland. Let's get stuck into it. So many big calls. Gregor Townsend wielding the axe on players he thinks are not quite in form, even if they are starters under his previous regime the previous year. He's cutting them if he thinks there's players that are in better form. So that's exciting to see if that's the right call. With England, it's Steve Borthwick's first ever squad, matchday squad. Some massive calls again. So much to get stuck into. I am still just about predicting a win for the home side, but Scotland could absolutely upset these guys here at home. They know they've got a great chance. If you haven't already, get stuck into the Pint Predictor game, the Guinness Pint Predictor. It's going to be great fun. Last time I came third, only 2 of you beat me. You've got to stop that. Beat me this time. We're up to nearly 500 players. Fanzu app, code analyst. All the kind of summarised rules on the sides there, but win pints of Guinness for yourself and friends, over 18s, drink responsibly. It's going to be great fun, and this game is going to be great fun. Let's get into this England team here, starting from the back. Freddie Stewart was one name we knew would be there. Absolutely he is a known quantity under Steve Borthwick, obviously playing for Leicester. But less known as a pick was Max Malins on the right wing. Wow. Super skillful, amazing kicking ability, good positional play, outstanding. But pace and power, that's not really his thing, and I'd be really worried if he was up against Darcy Graham, but he's up against some really good wingers anyway. But certainly he could get caught out for pace, but super skillful, maybe there to diffuse the kicking game or win the kicking game. That's going to be super interesting. On the other wing, we did think we would see Ollie Hassel-Collins, and we do, but a lot of pressure on the young man because he looks like the main attacking threat for England. Again, this is a backline maybe slightly short of power and line-breaking ability, dare I say. The centres is a different look to what I thought it would be. With Dan Kelly out injured, that was a cruel blow. Maybe he would have started, and we don't know if Dan Kelly is a world-class international centre in the making, but he was our one prospect at 12. They've slotted Owen Farrell in there. Would he have started anyway? I don't know, but he doesn't play 12 for Saracens. He's been playing 10 so well for Saracens. Again, he's slightly out of position in my opinion. Brings a lot to the party, of course, with his tackling, his kicking. Well, if he gets his tackles right, that is. But physicality, his kicking, his passing. And, of course, with Smith at 10, you can play first receiver, second receiver, flat and deep, one side, other side, first phase, second phase, however you want it. But are there enough weapons again? Joe Marchant, a fantastic player, and with Henry Slade out, I think he's the best fit. I think Lawrence is a better 13 than 12, but I still probably just put Marchant over him maybe. But it's a close call, but does he need a bigger 12 around him like at Quins with Esterhazen? I don't know. It's going to be a tough one, definitely. I think Scotland will fancy their chances up against this England backline. Like I said, a lot of pressure on Ollie Hassel-Collins. I would have liked to have seen Caden Murley, maybe instead of Max Malins, to give them that extra edge. But yeah, just a little down on pace, a little down on power. Can their skill, their vision, their kicking make up for that? Yeah, maybe. Then we've got Marcus Smith, obviously, at 10. Now, I think Marcus Smith is a great 10. I think he will be a great international 10 for England. Some not sure, but he needs the team to fire around him. He needs to get opportunities against disorganised defences, be it in counter-attack or in open phase, and just trying to force it against a set defence hasn't shown him in his best light. So if the team fire, he could look great. If they don't, he could look ordinary. But I'm hopeful. Like I said, great expectations on the thumbnail, but yeah, I am a little bit nervous for sure. Scrum half was always going to be a close call. Borthwick's gone for Jack Van Poortvliet. I think he's got all the skills for sure. A shame on Mitchell not being in the squad, because I think he'd be a good impact. Youngs can have fantastic games occasionally. Sometimes he can look very slow and pedestrian. So again, a little nervous off the bench. Now the front row is fascinating because there was lots of talk of shaking up the front row. Maybe Dan Cole starting at tight head, but no. Borthwick has gone with Kyle Sinclair, a huge boost for his confidence, but he's going to have to perform. Now, has he been tearing up trees for Bristol? Maybe not. And up against a Schumann in the scrum, that's a little bit of a worry, but Gens George Sinclair could well have been an Eddie Jones front row. Can they perform for Steve Borthwick? Big call, but I am excited to see Ellis Genge go because I think he's playing so well. The second row was always going to be who plays with Maro Itoje. I maybe would have liked Ribbons there. We don't know if Courtney Lawes would have played in the second row or the back row because he's out injured. But Borthwick's gone for the youngster Ollie Chesham, who has the talent. Is he ready physically? Has he matured enough to take on the best? He's up against a totem in Richie Gray. So really interesting. Again, excited, a little bit nervous. Interestingly, Johnny Hill was sent home from the squad early, not even in the frame to be picked, so he's well down the pecking order from what he was under Eddie Jones, and many of you don't quite rate him, so a tough pill for Johnny Hill for sure. But Chesham, can he make the step up? England really need him too for sure. And then all change in the back row, goodness me. With Lawes gone, we weren't quite sure who was going to play 6. Borthwick's gone for the all-round ability of Ludlam. He's chunky, he's hard worker. He could create some good balance to this back row. Not the flashiest, but he's going to work his socks off. And at 7, not Ben Earl, not Jack Willis, who was actually dropped out of the squad a bit earlier anyway, but Ben Curry. What a huge vote of confidence for Ben Curry. Wow, he's going to be nervous. There's going to be a lot of nerves in this England team. How they manage their nerves is going to be massive. If they start slow and messy, Scotland could roar away with it. That's where the nerves come in for me as well. Ben Curry, slightly less bulky than his brother Tom, but incredibly quick on his feet, maybe a little bit quicker, very nimble, a classic 7, and the balance with Ludlam's pretty good. And then big Alex Dombrandt at 8. I've been talking him up for ages. I hope to God he plays well, but I do think he should be given the whole championship to have a run at this and become England's dominant 8. I want to see him physically throw himself about because I know he's got the skills, but of course you want to see him run those lines he's so good at as well. Now I have to say on the bench, some areas I'm excited about, some a little bit nervous about, like the front row, Walker, Vunipola, Cole, not the sprightliest prop replacements. A lot of eyes on Maka Vunipola scrummaging. Dan Cole's in maybe for his scrummaging, so again, eyes on that. Jack Walker, fantastic around the pitch, but many of you Harlequins fans have said you're not sure about his throwing, so we'll see when he comes on. Ezekwe makes the slot as second row replacement. I'm still a bit sceptical. He is a world-class second row, but he's matured. He's as good as he's ever been, so fingers crossed. Someone I'm really excited to see, of course, is Ben Earl, an ideal impact 7, can play 8 as well. So yeah, he's going to be really good off the bench, I think, and Sam Simmons would equally have been a good impact sub. But yeah, I think Ben Earl, if he doesn't start, making the bench is about right. Ben Young's unmentioned. And then 2 exciting outside backs. The advantage of having Owen Farrell at 12 is you can have this excitement on your bench with the outside backs. Ollie Lawrence, where does he come on, 12 or 13? I'm hoping 13 really, because I think he's slightly better there, making those breaks later in the game. Anthony Watson, if he was a bit fitter, had more games, probably would have started, to be honest, but can he get back to his best? We had Johnny May, Jack Noel not quite getting back to their former athletic prowess. Can Watson get there? If he can, fantastic. If he can't, then it's just, another older player who hasn't quite got back to their best. So I'm a bit nervous, but I think he's got a great chance, probably a bit more than the other 2, of getting back to his best. So let me know what you think of that England team. I'm excited. I'm nervous. Will they win? I think it's on the edge. I'm saying yes, just. So the Scottish team that's coming down to take on England, let's get through it. Some big names culled, as I said. But their talismanic fullback is there. Stuart Hogg is fit and ready to go. That's a big boost. It's a shame we don't see Darcy Graham, but Carl Steyn, as many of you commented, is in great form for Glasgow and probably deserves his spot over Kinghorn, according to you guys, and that is indeed what Townsend has gone for. Kinghorn, an ideal replacement, to be honest, covers so many positions. And of course, big Van der Merwe on the other wing. All change in the centres. We see Tuipulotu paired up with Hugh Jones. Really attacking. What an attacking lineup. The 2 Glasgow Warriors together, they're going to know their games so well. Hugh Jones has been around for a while, has promised to be a fantastic player. Can he take this chance to stay in the team? Because he has pushed out Chris Harris, who seemed like a fixture for his defensive prowess. But no, Townsend has said, you're not quite in the form. Jones is. Let's go for the attack. So exciting. No shock dropping of Finn Russell this time. He looks like he's ready to rock and roll, but there is a big drop for Ali Price. Many of you said, yeah, he's not in the greatest form, but I just thought because he's got so much money in the bank with good performances for Scotland in the past, the experience, they'd go with him for this big opening game. But no, he's gone completely. But Ben White starts, and it's George Horn on the bench, possibly the form 9 on the bench, so a real impact player, and no place for Price at all. Is this just Townsend trying to G up these more experienced players to get them coming back in time for the World Cup in good form? We'll see. Big, strong scrummaging, props there in Schoeman and Nell to start. That's going to be tough for England to handle. Turner getting the nod over his teammate at hooker. And as many of you said, the older Gray is the guy in form, Richie Gray, and indeed Townsend goes for him. Johnny Gray on the bench, probably hasn't played quite enough alongside Grant Gilchrist. That was always going to be the case for him. Then in the back row, not quite enough game time it seems for Watson to get back in at 7, so that goes to Crosby, only 2 caps. Richie stays at 6, Fagerson at 8. It's quite a lightweight back row potentially, but very quick. Dempsey must have been close at 8. No, the adopted Aussie is a big guy, a very useful guy, someone I think Townsend would really like in his team, so I think he'll put pressure maybe on Fagerson if he comes on at 8. Be interesting to see how they change up the back row potentially if they need to make some changes on the flanks. Then we've mentioned most of the subs. We've got Brown, Batty and Bergen, the replacement front row. The younger Gray on the bench alongside Dempsey. Maybe he'll come on as 8 or a big 6. The exciting George Horn as the scrum half replacement. Blair Kinghorn, a fantastic replacement like I said, because he can come on at 10. Looks like he's covering 10, but also 11, 15 as well. I did wonder if they'd try and get a cap for the new acquisition of Ben Healy, but not this time. Then Chris Harris on the bench is interesting. I guess they do need centre cover, but maybe not exactly an impact sub. So dropping those key players, if you like, those well-established players for the form players, is it the right call? Will it backfire with maybe slightly less experience? It's going to be super exciting. The centre combination is very exciting. So many unknowns for England. There's a few unknowns for Scotland as well. Let me know what you think of these teams. Who's going to win? Get involved in the Pint Predictor game if you haven't already, because that's going to be cool. Yeah, all those comments below, and I'll catch you next time.